Welcome to Move and Restore week 2. So in this week, we're going to have a look at a little bit of 360 core strength, and our peak pose is Vasisthasana, so this side plank here. I'm going to give you lots of options for that, so don't worry if that's not a pose that's in your practice. We're going to have modification versions of it suitable for everybody, using one knee down versions. So actually, I'll go through them with you now, so that we don't break the flow of our practice. The first version of Vasisthasana really is this one, which we use quite a lot when we're warming up. So the bottom knee down, left arm reaching up. So that'd be your first version. So just have a look at me while I'm practicing with me for this one. Then the second version is you come into plank, roll over to the right-hand side and step the top leg forward. So a little bit of support there. And then the final version, which we'll be flowing through, will be this one with coming onto the outer edge of the left or the right foot and the inner edge of the left foot. And of course, the option is to stack the feet too, but I'm going to be guiding you through this one. One other thing just to watch out for in your Vasisthasana is the position of the shoulder. Now, don't worry, you don't have to remember all this. I will be guiding you through this, but just one thing to watch out for is the position of the shoulder. We want the hand, the supporting hand, to be slightly forward. I'm going to bring that leg forward there just so I can talk you through it a bit. Slightly forward of the shoulder joint there, so that when the left arm is reaching up, we're making a perfect T with the arms. So when you think about it, the body's at a 45-degree angle. So if this hand is stacked directly underneath it, that's not a T, that's more like this shape. So we're trying to get the arms perfectly straight, which means this arm is slightly forward when I'm at an angle. Make more sense when you're in it. It's just a little bit kinder for that shoulder, because when it's directly under, we're pushing an awful lot of weight into that deltoid there at the center of our shoulder, which we don't really want. Now we will be kind of flowing through it. I'm not going to hold you in that pose for too long, so don't worry about that, because it's a full body pose. That's why we're trying it out today, because it's you're working the core, but really it's the leg strength, it's the spine strength, it's the chest opening. It's got so much going on about it. I've actually just put up an article on my website about Vasisthasana if you're interested to have a read, and there'll be a type of sequence there, loosely based on what I'm doing here, but a little bit more, I suppose, because it doesn't have the restorative part as well. So let's all come up to our feet. What we're going to do is, I know we always start on the ground, and I rarely start standing, but just for the purpose of demonstrating what we're looking for in Vasisthasana Side Plank is basically, it's the principles in Tadasana on your side. So we're looking for the natural curves of our spine. We're not looking for the hips to be dipped down towards the ground or up too high. We're pressing our feet into the ground. So let's do that now. Let's take our feet hip distance apart. The hands we'll leave them down towards at the sides for the moment. So lift up all your toes and place them down one at a time. Press your big toe mound, your little toe mound, and the center at the back of the heel. So big toe, little toe, center at the back of the heel. Our feet are more like triangles rather than rectangles. They're your supporting points. And then we feel the arches of those three arches of the feet lifting up in between those points there. So the more you press, the stronger those legs feel. Again, we're going to be doing the same thing in Vasisthasana. We're going to be strongly pressing out through the heels, even though they're just going to be pressing towards the end of our mat, not into any particular thing. But you're still getting the strength of the legs from that pressing sensation. Outer edges of the hips hugging in towards the midline. So that action really is just this squeezing of the buttocks muscles, these adductors here. And then cinching in the waist 360. So, to balance on our side, we're not just working the front waist here. We're working the obliques on the side, quadratus lumborum on the back, and the erector spines along the spine. So it's the 360 waist. That's why this pose is so good for correcting posture or building strong posture, building strong supportive muscles for our spine. Because at the end of the day, that's what these muscles are for. They're supporting our spine, they're containing the organs of the body. Okay, so then just add the arms into it, just bringing the arms out at a 90-degree angle there and press the fingertips away. You might even flex both the wrists there, press them away like we're in true Vasisthasana standing up. So here, have a sense of, even though the shoulders are working hard to lift the arms up, can you soften your shoulders a little bit? And yes, those shoulder blades will spin out to the side, but we don't want our shoulders bunched up around our ears. So we're trying to lengthen the space between the shoulder and the neck there by softening the shoulders a little bit. Press the hands away from you there, same way that we're doing with the feet, to wake up those arms. Continue to press through the feet now. Don't let those legs go to sleep. And just feel how strong this pose is. And just, it's a simple standing pose, but there's so much going on in it. Now, see, can you embed those principles? You can bring the arms down now. Embed those principles into you so that you can readdress them or come back to them when we find ourselves in our first Vasisthasana. So just think, as you're in Vasisthasana, what are my principles of Tadasana? Core, outer hips, legs, strong arms. And of course, I'll be reminding you. Okay, let's just come down to all fours and start flowing with our practice. So we're going to do a slightly different version of cat-cow, but we'll start off with cat-cow to get warmed up first. So inhaling, let the belly soften towards the ground. The gaze comes slightly forward, extension of the back of the neck. And then exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine. And even here in our cat-cow, as we press our hands into the ground here, we're warming up those arms so that the arms are in the same position for Vasisthasana. And we're also warming up our core. So try, as we are working through this, to think of the core again as this 360 thing that's wrapping around you, not just the front of the belly there. And continuing with your breath, inhale, belly softens, the pelvis tips forward, and exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. One more normal round of inhale, belly drops down towards the ground, softens, lifting the pelvic floor. So even though we're softening the belly, we're still containing. And then exhale, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. Press the hands into the ground here. So let's take a few breaths here in our cat position and really feel the fingertips support you. Press your fingertips into the mat. Spread your fingers wide here. Make sure that you kind of have this slight gripping of the mat. Like the way we do with our feet in Vasisthasana, you're kind of pressing the fingertips and the knuckles of the hands into the mat so that the hands there's arches also in the hands, the way there is in the feet. So the arches are kind of lifting and it causes this kind of suction pad onto your sticky mat. Okay, now you can stick with that version if you want, or if you want to try this one, which is a little bit of a core work version. We come into inhale, the belly softens down towards the ground, and then our exhale, we bring the spine up towards the ceiling and lift the knees. So we're just coming up onto the fronts of our feet there, just with a little bit of action in the core. Then inhale, soften the belly, gaze comes forward. We're going to do 3 rounds of these. So this is the second round. Exhale, spine up towards the ceiling. Lift the knees just an inch or two, press the tops of the feet into the ground. Hopefully you can see that on the screen there. Just see a little bit of space between our knees and the ground. Inhale, belly softens towards the ground. The gaze comes forward, pelvis tilts, shoulders towards the back of the hips. And then exhale, press into the hands, press into the tops of the feet, lift the knees off the ground. Suction that spine now, or the navel in towards the spine. 360 cinching of the waist in there. And then bring the knees down. We're going to continue with our flow now. So pivot your right foot off the mat, come up onto the balls of the right foot and reach the left foot away from you here now. Inhale to reach that right arm up, or left arm up. And then exhale, you're going to reach the left arm overhead and optionally lift that left leg up. So here we're starting to press through that left heel. Continue to breathe here. Let's see, can we get a little bit of power working in that left leg? Press through the heel. Feel the principles again of Tadasana. The heel is pressing into space, the fingertips reaching. And then exhaling to come back to all fours again. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to flip to the end of my mat, but you can stay where you are. And optionally, again, if it suits the tops of your feet, doesn't suit everybody, but just that little bit of core work, waking up the whole 360 core there. So inhale, belly drops down towards the ground, the gaze comes forward, and then exhaling, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, lifting the knees an inch or two, really drawing the navel in towards the spine. Second round, inhale, belly softens, gaze comes forward. And then exhaling, pressing the feet, the hands into the hands, tops of the feet, lift the knees an inch or two, really feeling the core working here now. Inhale, knees come down, gaze comes forward a little bit, pelvis tilts, And then exhaling, press into the hands, tops of the feet, lift the knees just an inch or two off the ground. Really let your shoulder blades spread across your back here now. Inhale back to all fours again. Now we're going to pivot the left foot off to the left side of your mat. Reach the right leg away from you here. Inhale, reach the right arm up now. On your exhale, reach the right arm overhead and optionally lift that left leg or right leg up. Reach through the right fingertips, press strongly now through that right leg here. So if lifting that leg is difficult for you, it doesn't have to be up at hip height, just even lifting it an inch or two off the ground, whatever suits your hip joints there. Press in both directions. And then exhale, coming back to all fours again. Okay, we're going to come all the way down to the ground again. I'm just going to take a little bit of core work here. So starting in Sphinx Pose, Sphinx Pose being forearms on the ground, elbows directly underneath the shoulders. So this is your starting point. Your feet are hip distance apart there. You're pressing into the pubic bone and the tops of your feet. You're pressing your hands into the ground here and your forearms into the ground. And it's like you're trying to draw your chest forward to come into a little back bend. And we're stretching out the skin of the core here from the sternum all the way down to the belly button. So it's a nice sensation just to give a little bit of stretch to that skin. And that's our inhale here. On our exhale, so just listen carefully, we're going to press into the forearms, press into the knees and the tops of the feet and start to peel just the hips off the ground. So the knees and the tops of the feet, the forearms are still on the ground, slightly orca position, but what we're doing here is we're working into the core again. So the hips don't have to come up too high until we start to feel it in the core. Again, imagine that whole 360 wrapping of the core here. And then inhale to come back down again. Take a moment of your inhale to press the forearms into the ground and find that little reach and stretch through the front of the body there again. Exhale, press into the forearms, tops of the feet and the knees to lift the pelvis up. And the back is rounding a little bit as well. Feel the shoulder blades spreading across your back here. Drawing the pelvic floor up, lifting drawing the navel in towards the spine there. And then inhale, last round. Belly comes down, gaze comes forward. And then exhaling one last time, pressing into the tops of the hands, the forearms, tops of the feet and the knees. Lift the pelvis there. Pelvis is heavy, so this is really, really strong work on the core here to lift the pelvis up. And then inhaling back to Sphinx Pose again. Hands either side of the chest there. Lift yourself up and find your way into all fours again. Now we're going to add a little standing flow and we're going to bring our cat-cow and our side gate position into the next stage of adding a standing flow, and we will reach our first Vasisthasana as well. So inhaling, belly softens, gaze comes forward, and exhaling, either coming into your cat or lifting those knees up an inch or two. Inhaling, just back to all fours again. Exhaling, pivot the right foot off the mat there now. Reach the right arm or left arm up. Left leg reaching towards the back of the mat. Inhale, reach that left arm overhead. Press that left foot away from you there. Really making that left leg nice and strong. And then exhaling, back to all fours again. On an inhale, we're going to reach the right leg away, press the heel, left leg away. So coming into plank here. And then exhaling in our plank. So making sure that those shoulders are stacked over the wrists here. Step that right arm forward a little bit and pivot onto the outer side of your right foot, inner side of your left foot, option 1, or option 2, step that left foot to the center of your mat to give you a little bit more support. Reach that left arm up towards the ceiling on your inhale. And then exhale back to all fours again. So just to remind you, your different versions there of the Vasisthasana. If you don't want to take the version where we come through plank, you come into this simpler modified version here where we pivot the right foot off the mat, reach the left leg away. So 2 different versions really. The bottom leg supporting you or the top leg supporting you. So this is the bottom leg supporting you. And then for the top leg supporting you, you come into it through plank. That's the top leg supporting you. So it's an incremental effort to the kind of forces of gravity on the body there. And then this version is the version that I'll be going through. So remembering your versions. Okay, inhaling in all fours, exhaling, stepping the right leg forward just to the inside of the right hand. Tuck those left toes under. Inhale, place the hands on your right leg if you need to, just to help lift you up. Reach the arms up high. Okay, let's just take a moment here in our high lunge, just making sure that we're happy that we're nice and secure. So legs nice and wide now, at least hip distance apart. Little bend in that back knee if you need to, just until we've stretched through the front of that left hip flexor there. And with the arms reaching up high, front knee bent, making sure that that front knee doesn't overshoot that front angle. So bring that right foot forward if you need to. And just be gentle with yourself. It's your first standing pose. It'll be completely different by the time we come towards the second or third round. Inhale, reach the arms up high, coming into the core again. And then exhale, just reaching the arms forward. So tilting the whole body forward, feeling the core supporting you now. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, reach them forward, hinging through the hips there. Inhale, reaching. And exhale, tipping forward. Now for the next one, we're going to inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to waist. And lift that left leg up. So that's quite, if that's a little bit too much of a leap of faith for you, step that left leg forward a little bit and then reach the right leg, the left leg up. Okay, so that's your version. Inhale, reach. Exhale, left leg comes forward. Now, if you don't want to come all the way back, you can do inhale, reach, and then exhale, just tap that foot down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tap the foot down. Okay, so I'm going to flow with it. You have your modifications there that hopefully you have something that everyone will suit everyone. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands to hips. Lift that left leg up. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, lifting the left leg. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, lifting the left leg. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, hands either side the front foot and just step that right foot back and coming into all fours again. And we'll move on to the second side. Okay, so let's start with our cat-cows with the knee lifts. Inhale, belly drops or softens rather than drops down towards the ground. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, press into the hands, the soles of the feet, lift the knees up an inch or two. We'll do another round of that. So inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale, lift the knees up an inch or two. Feel the shoulder blades spread. And one more round. Inhale, gaze comes forward, feel the pelvis tilting. And then exhale, press into the hands, tops of the feet, lift the knees an inch or two. Inhale, back to all fours. Exhale, pivot the left foot off the mat now. Reach the right leg away, reach the right arm up. So again, just making that little adjustment to the hand there if you need to, making sure that it's forward of the arm joint there. Reach the right arm up. And then inhale, reach the right arm overhead, lift the right leg, press the right heel away. Remembering your options here now, if it's too much on the joint, you just lift the leg an inch or two off the ground, or you keep it on the ground. And exhale, down to all fours again. So coming into our Vasisthasana versions here, remembering you've got your bottom leg down, or you've got your top leg down, and then you've also got your full version. Okay, so let's stay or come into it from all fours. In an inhale, reach right leg away, reach left leg away. Exhale, pivot onto the outer edge of the left foot, inside of the right foot, reach the right arm up. And then inhale, back down, knees down. And then on your next inhale, step the left leg forward, just to the inside of that left foot, the left hand there. So even now, before we stand up, make sure that the feet are nice and wide. So you want that left foot kind of nearly over to the, all the way over to the left side of your mat, and the right knee nice and wide as well. Tuck the right toes under, place both hands on the left knee to help you come up if you need it. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Let's take a moment, bring the arms down, just check the position of our legs. And that little micro bend in the right knee here, if you need it, just to help to wake up that hip flexor there. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhaling all the breath out so that you can really cinch your waist in to support you as you reach the chest and arms forward. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, hinging over that left leg. Inhale, reach for the last time, and exhale, hinging over the left leg. Inhale to reach. Now we're coming into the leg lifts now. So just remembering you might want to step that left leg forward or right leg forward a little bit if the full step forward is a little bit too much for you. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hands to hips, lifting that right leg up. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hands to hips, right leg comes forward. Last time, inhale to reach. Exhale, hands to hips, and right leg lifts. Inhale to reach, exhale, hands down, either side of the front foot, and just stepping it back to all fours. Okay, we're going to build on that now and coming into our next flow. And sticking with the same familiar start to each flow. So that was the second side of the first flow. We're coming into the first side of the second flow. So inhale here, let the belly soften down towards the ground. Exhale, press into the hands, press into the tops of the feet, lift the knees an inch or two. Inhale, belly softens, the gaze comes forward. Exhaling, pressing into the hands, tops of the feet, lift the knees. Last round, inhale, softening. And exhale, pressing into the hands, tops of the feet, shoulder blades spread, press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, back to all fours. Exhale, pivot the right foot off your mat here now. Reach the left leg away, reach the left arm up. So press into that supporting hand there. Start to kind of build an awareness of where this is going, because it's going to be supporting in your Vasisthasana in a few poses time. And then in our next inhale, we reach the left fingertips forward and the left leg back. Press strongly now out through that left leg. Again, we're building awareness in these muscles and giving them a little bit of guidance of where they're going next. Exhale, back down to all fours. And then getting ready for our Vasisthasana on the right side now. So inhale, reach right leg away, press out through the heel, reach left leg away, remembering your different versions here now. And then taking an exhale here. Inhale, we're going to pivot onto the outer edge of the right foot, inner edge of the left foot, reach that right arm up, or left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, back to your plank position, and then inhaling back to all fours again. Exhale, step that right foot just to the inside of the right hand, tuck the left toes under. Inhale, hands to the front knee, reach the arms up high, and then we're going to open out into warrior two. So this is our inhale here. Again, we're flowing, so I'm not going to be too worried about the exact position of our feet here because we're not staying in the pose for very long. So usually it's front heel to back arch alignment, but for stability, it's this left leg is going to be a little bit further forward and the right leg a little bit further back. And that's absolutely fine for the hips. They're going to be in the correct position. Inhale or exhale into our reverse warrior. And then for our inhale, we're going to come into Vasisthasana just to take a stretch here, because the next pose is going to be Ardha Chandrasana, which is half moon pose. So if you have a brick, pop it at the top of your mat there now. And we're just going to have a look at this one, which is another one that really strengthens the lifting leg there. Okay, so we're going to place the right hand again. So I'm going to talk you through this Ardha Chandrasana. If it's not part of your practice, or the lifted leg in this standing version is just a little bit too much on that hip joint, you stay with Vasisthasana. Okay, so for those who want to try Ardha Chandrasana, you're going to place your right hand on the right brick there now, press strongly into that right foot now, and then step that left leg forward just enough so that you've got the balance over that brick and the right foot. And then on your inhale, you're going to lift that left leg away, reach the left arm up, and then exhale to bring it back down. We're not going to hold the poses because I'm just going to knit this into our flow here. It doesn't have to be the most beautiful Ardha Chandrasana you've ever done. So we're going to, in our flow, we're going to come into warrior, reverse, and then we're going to place the hand on the brick and take one breath in Ardha Chandrasana, or even just an element of lifting that leg a little bit and then coming back to our warrior. Again, if that doesn't suit you, just coming into Parsvakonasana while we are coming into our leg lift for the warrior. Okay, we'll start in warrior, and we'll take that second section of this first side here. Inhaling in warrior, and then exhale into reverse. Inhale, reach that right arm forward, lift left leg and left arm reaches up. Exhaling back into our warrior. We'll do that 2 more times, okay? So give it a go. Just playing with your balance here now. It's not going to be too choreographed, so just be kind with yourself, and just, you know, you're working with really strengthening those legs and strengthening the core muscles that are supporting you as you're working out how to balance in these poses. So we're just challenging your balance. So inhale into warrior, exhale into reverse. Inhale, right hand reaches for the brick, gently lifting that left leg, any amount, left arm reaching, and then inhale back into our warrior. 1 more time. Exhale into reverse. Inhale to warrior. And then exhale. In fact, left hand to left hip helps sometimes. Reach left leg away, right arm up. Inhale back into our warrior. Circle around the hands either side of the front foot and step it back to all fours. Okay, so we're going to do that flow on the second side now. You can stay at the top of your mat there. I'm just flipping back to make sure that you can see me. And we'll start with our knee lifts in cat-cow again. Inhale, soften the belly, gaze comes a little bit forward. Exhale, cinch the spine, or cinch the waist in towards the spine, 360 degrees. Inhale, belly soften, the gaze comes forward. Exhale, lifting the spine, belly towards the spine. Last time, inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale, navel towards spine, shoulder blades spread. Oh, I forgot to lift my knees there. Hopefully you remember to lift your knees. I got away with it. Okay, circling the left foot off the mat now. Reaching the right arm up on your inhale, and then exhale, reach the right fingertips away, right leg lifted, press the right heel away from you. And then inhale back to all fours again. Exhale, step that left foot just to the inside of the left hand. Again, let's just take a breath here now to make sure that we have that foot nicely over to the left side of the mat. We're going to come up strong in our standing position. Tuck those right toes under, hands onto the left knee, press into that left knee to support you. Lift the arms up high and circle them out and around into our warrior 2. So this is our inhale. Let's maybe just try and flow through this side without me giving too much guidance, just to give you a little bit of space to do your own thing. Okay, exhale into our reverse. So right hand comes down to the right leg. Inhale to warrior. Exhale, left hand comes to the left brick. Right arm reaches, left leg or right leg lifts any amount. Inhale back into our warrior. Exhale into reverse. Inhale into warrior. Exhale, right leg lifts, right arm lifts. Last time, inhale back into our warrior. Exhale into reverse. Inhale into warrior, and then exhale into our Ardha Chandrasana. Inhale, back into warrior. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot and stepping it back to all fours. Okay, we are going to just go through. We've time for 1 more of them. I think we're going to flow through the first one. I think that was, I mean, maybe we'll kind of mix in a little bit of the second one, but we might leave Ardha Chandrasana out of it and just see, can we get a little bit of movement with the breath now? Okay, so inhale, we'll do 1 of each pose now. Inhale, belly softens down towards the ground. Exhale, I remember the knee lifts this time. Lift knees up 1 inch or 2, shoulder blades spread. Inhale, back to all fours. Exhale, pivot the right foot off the mat, reach left leg away, left arm reaches up. Inhale, reach the left arm forward, left leg reaches back. Exhale, back to all fours again. Inhale, step right foot back, left foot back. Exhale here in our strong plank pose. Press the floor away. Inhale to the side plank. Reach the arms up high. Exhale, back to all fours. Inhale, step the right foot just to the inside of the right hand. Take an exhale here. And then inhale, tuck left toes under, right hands onto the right knee. Reach the arms up high. Let's take one breath here. Exhaling. Inhaling, reaching the fingertips up high. Exhaling, hinging forward. So we're coming into our galloping horse pose. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hinging forward. Last round. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, reaching the arms forward. Inhale to reach the arms up high. And then exhale, let's just ground that left foot and come into our warrior pose. Inhale into reverse. And exhale to warrior. Inhale to reverse. Exhale to warrior. Last time. Inhale to reverse. Reach the fingertips. Keep those hips nice and low. And then exhale into warrior. Let's circle the hands either side of that front foot and step it back to all fours. So we'll just do that simple version of a mix of both of our flows on the left-hand side. Inhale, soften the belly. Shoulder comes towards the back of the hips there. Exhale, press into the hands, the tops of the feet. Lift the knees up an inch or two. Inhale, back to all fours. Exhale, circle that left foot off the mat now. Reach the right leg away. Reach the right arm up. Exhale, inhale, reach the right fingertips forward, the left foot away. Exhale, back to all fours again. Inhale, step the left foot just to the inside of the left hand there. Make sure that we're nice and wide in our stance. And exhale, tuck those right toes under. Inhale, so we're coming up always on an inhale. Press both hands into that left knee. Lift the right knee up, reach the arms up high. Let's take one breath here to stabilize. Press into that left foot. Press the heel now of the right foot away from you. So maybe you're starting now at this stage, coming to the end of our practice, to straighten that back leg and really press the heel away. Feel the stretch through the hip flexor. Inhale here and exhale, hinge forward over that left leg. Really press through the heel now of the right foot so you can get a little bit of force through that back side of the body. Inhale to reach and then exhale to hinge forward. Inhale to reach last time and exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, reaches, exhale, circles the arms around, rounding that right foot down, finding our way into warrior. Inhale to reverse warrior, exhale to warrior. So see, can you really keep those hips down and level? Let that be the focus of your flow. Inhale to reverse, exhale to warrior. Last time, inhale to reverse and exhaling into our warrior. Circle the hands either side of the front foot and stepping it back to all fours. Let's just take a few rounds now. We're going to transition to our restorative part of our practice, a few rounds of cat-cow, and maybe even circling the hips, doing anything that you feel would benefit you and help you to settle into the next part of your practice, which is where we restore and replenish. We give our energy back after taking energy, and we just absorb the practice. So circling the hips, maybe taking a few rounds of cat-cow, whatever you feel will work for you to get the fidgets out of your body. When you're ready, just coming onto your back, we'll take a few moments in constructive rest. So all the way down onto your back, feet are mat distance apart, knees are knocked in together, arms with the palms facing up, probably just starting to cool the body down, a little bit of space between the arms and the body there. Let's just start to observe the breath and see, with a little bit of conscious guidance, can we give it a chance to settle and become a little bit gentler after the strong flowing section of our practice. So just remembering, I always like to make sure that we're integrating the principles from our standing part of our practice with the restorative part of our practice. So let's, for this second half of our practice, keep our attention on those supportive core muscles. So we'll be coming into an organ stretch, which will give a lovely stretch to the front body there. So, remembering to keep our attention there, finding the breath there. So it's always a great way to tap into the abdominal region, is to really trace the breath down through the nasal passage. Feel the rib cage rising, and feel the belly rising. And some people, it helps to place the hands on the belly just to really help them to feel where exactly the breath is going, or in this case, kind of what parts of the body it's affecting. So it's the breath is, the lungs are in the chest, but because of the expansion of the lungs and the rib cage, the belly also has to rise to facilitate the organs. So taking 2 or 3 restorative, replenishing breaths here, observing the breath and just noticing it starting to settle. And just noticing, almost like a little snow globe, everything settling, even the kind of activity of the mind, if it's trying to work out the poses, it's trying to work out how to balance, and just seeing, can you gently let that float away? So again, using the breath as your anchor, and also the skin across your forehead, the third eye. Sometimes it's nice to have 2 things to anchor you. Observing the breath constantly can feel sometimes a little intense, and maybe you just want to let the breath do its own thing. So that region of the forehead, the third eye, and just maybe see, can you find any little bit of tension held across the skin of your forehead there, the temples, the cheekbones, the jaw, the eyes become heavy in the sockets, just the whole face beginning to just soften. Okay, we're going to move now into our first pose. So gently rolling over to your right hand side, using your left hand to help lift you up into a seated position. Okay, so for our first pose, you will need a brick on its lowest, is it lowest height? Yes, lowest height. And then a blanket, well folded. So I'd say we probably even want it folded into quite a wedge. So it's this kind of a shape. And we're going to pop that on top of the brick there. Now I'm going to guide you into this pose. I'm going to give you a version because it's quite a strong stretch for this abdominal region here. And, it just want to make sure that your spine is completely happy with it. It also is very dependent on the height of your bolster or whatever prop that you're using to choose your bolster. Mine is quite high. So if you have the kind of slightly lower versions of the bolsters, the kind of rectangular ones, is probably more suitable for this pose. So I feel this pose quite intensely through the front of the chest there. But hopefully if your prop is a little bit flatter, it won't be quite as intense. I'll give you a version where we move the prop out of this region here if you do feel this pose is quite intense. So what you're going to do is bring the back of your hips up against your bolster there, maybe a little bit of space between the hips and the bolster. And you're going to start to lay yourself down. So have your forearms on the bolster and just drape yourself over the bolster until the back of your head finds the pillow that we've made there. So you start to feel this lovely stretch through the belly there. It's called organ stretching pose. So options to have the knees bent in kind of constructive rest, or the knees in line with the hips there, or reaching the legs straight. So reaching the feet away from you there, just whatever suits your lower back here now. Arms can be in cactus position, might be quite intense for the shoulders there, possibly in in T-shape position, or you can just drape the arms over either side of your bolster there. So just whatever version you want to take. Cactus for a strong stretch of the shoulders, T-shape, a little bit softer, and then arms draped either side of the bolster there. Okay, I'm just going to settle you into this pose, and then for the people who found this quite a strong stretch on the front body, I'll give you a slightly different version of it, where we use blankets instead of the bolster. So you're just coming down a little bit further towards the floor. So for those of you that are happy in this pose and you're finding a lovely stretch, check in now with the front of the body there, and just look for that lovely stretch through the skin of the front of the body and the whole frontal core section. So feel your breath there, and just feel and notice how this kind of strong stretch of the abdominal region does affect how deep you can breathe. And that's good, that's okay. That's where we are massaging and almost kind of challenging the tissue of the lungs there, which is very replenishing for them. So if you're happy here, you're going to stay in this pose. For those of you who found this just a little bit too intense, you're going to press your forearms either side of the bolster. I'm just going to talk you guys into a slightly different version. So you're going to pop the bolster out to the side. You're going to get two of your blankets, and you're just going to roll them up into a long roll there. So we're just bringing the back of the hips down a little bit. So we're kind of come into this kind of a roll, and then pop that at the back of the hips there, and coming down over the bolster or over the blanket. Maybe take that blanket off the brick there, because that will have the head too high for you. I'm just coming into this slightly gentler version of the stretch at the front of the belly there. So really what you've just done there, if you've replaced your bolster, if your bolster is just a little bit too intense a stretch for the lumbar and the front of the body, and you've replaced it with two rolled blankets. Okay, let's come back into the bolster version. Okay, so whichever version you're in, bolster or blankets, feel the lovely stretch to the front of the belly there. So this pose just gives a slightly different way of stretching the front of the body there. It's kind of, it comes to it lower down, which I find hugely beneficial for digestion and the organs of the abdominal region. So it's slightly different sensation than a back bend. So that's why I wanted to add this in after we've been doing the core flow, just to feel that lovely stretch in the core. And even though it can take a few different versions to make everyone happy, it's definitely one worth exploring in the practice. Okay, so regardless of which version you are in, can you feel that lovely kind of the lovely kind of opening of the chest there as the shoulders just gently drop down between the space of your bolster and your headrest? So the kind of forces of gravity helping you to open through the chest there, maybe even feel a sense of the shoulders gently and softly moving away from the ears a little bit. And just making sure the hips now are grounded there and the legs are grounded and they're relaxed. There's no effort to the legs at all. Coming back now to the sensation at the front of the body there, and the rise and fall of the ribs with your breath. So rising with the inhale, and the gentle contracting with the exhale. And feel the texture of the density of the support underneath the back of your lumbar spine there. So can you really feel it's supporting you there? In contrast to the texture or the density or the warmth even of the mat that you're sitting on. So just exploring the different surfaces that our body lies on in our practice as a way to tap into the senses of the body. And feel for the texture, the softness of the blanket, if you have one, on top of your brick pillow, supporting the back of your skull there. And sitting on top of all these different textures, all these different ways of supporting your body, the body drapes and flows. And feel the gentle forces of gravity pressing you down into your props. Feel even that sense of the difference in forces of gravity, the top of the body and the sides of the body. It's almost like the sides of the body are draping down or flowing down towards the ground. You might particularly feel this sensation again, coming back to the skin across the forehead and the skin draping over your cheeks, skin rolling down the sides of your jaw. I'm going to get ready to come out of this pose now. So definitely bending the knees up if you have them straight. And maybe even just cinching the hips away from you a little bit. Press your forearms into the ground there, and just until you can comfortably lift your head up, and then walk them in towards each other. Come up onto the palms of your hands to lift yourself to a seated position. Okay, so we're going to move into our next pose. What you'll need for your next pose is your 4 blankets, or as many blankets as you have there. Don't need any bricks and don't need any bolsters. So you can pop them out to the side. So what we want with our blankets now is we want to fold them up so that they create a kind of a nice little platform for our hips. So just depending on the kind of size of your blankets, well, let's see, I'll start you with a 4-fold. So that's your 4-fold. Again, your 4-fold might be a bit bigger if your blankets are bigger than mine. We're going to fold it over again and then fold it over one more time. So you end up with this kind of a shape. So we want to have it portrait to the long edges of your your mat there. So you want this side, so the long edge to the long edge of your blanket. And you're just going to continue building a little platform of blankets with as many blankets that you have. So in my case, I have 4, and you want to make sure that they're fairly similar size, so you have a nice sturdy platform there. Again, always making sure that you smooth everything out. So just a little reminder, we've got our rectangular shape, long edge to the long edge there. And that's going to be on the center, or maybe just a little bit further down on our blanket, or on our mat. Okay, you're going to come with sit your left hip onto the edge of your blankets there. Bring just maybe a little bit of the flesh of your buttocks off the edge, the far end of your blanket stock there. Hands either side of the blankets, and then gently guide yourself back down to come into this nice supported inversion. Now you'll fairly rapidly know whether you've got come too high and whether you need to take one of those blankets out, or if you, at the same time, you might feel a little bit too low. Maybe you're not feeling too much of an inversion. So in that case, you add a blanket. So again, with all these restorative poses, there's always loads of ways to amend them and modify them for exactly your comfort, because it has to suit your body dimensions. So this is a pretty good height for me. So you want those, the backs of the shoulder blades are grounded there. Back of my skull is grounded, and then palms facing up either side of your blanket folds there. You keep your knees bent for this one, otherwise it will be just a little bit too much in the front of the hips there. And instead of having the knees knocked in together, just keep the knees in line with their hips there. So really press the feet into the ground here, and almost like you're kind of trying to make the sticky mat do all the effort of holding the legs in space. So shimmying up or down your blankets. So if you find the back of your blankets there are hitting the back of your shoulder or the back of your mid back there a little bit too much, just shimmy yourself back towards the back of your mat. So where with our last pose, we were stretching the front of the body there. And when we come out of that stretch, all the blood flows back into the abdominal region. Now we're going to work a little bit on inverting the blood flow. So we're playing around with the circulation of this whole part, the abdominal region of the body, where a lot of our organs are housed. And whilst they're incredibly efficient at doing their job, they do appreciate a little bit of help every now and again, and restorative is one of the best ways that we can help them. So scanning through your body again, feeling now these different set of sensations in the body. Let's start again with just feeling for the textures underneath the parts of the body that are touching support. The texture of the sticky mat underneath your feet, the lovely support and comfort and softness of the blankets folded underneath our hips and our lower back there. The sticky mat underneath our shoulders and the back of our head. And maybe the sticky mat upper arms, and maybe a bit of the floor on your lower arms and the back of your hands. So what sensations now do you feel in the front of the body this time? So you might still feel a bit of a stretch to the skin, of course, maybe a little bit higher now, maybe just under the rib cage there as we come into this inverted back bend. And can you feel this inner sense of the kind of the weight of the body being kind of pushed a little bit towards the head there as we invert? You might feel a little bit more blood flow in the head, the brain. And then how does this affect your breath? Does this feel different to our last pose? Does it feel a little easier to breathe? Does it feel the same? Can you expand your ribs? Can you expand your belly? Remembering to soften the skin across your forehead, come back to that idea of softening any muscles of the face, the jaw, skin across the cheekbones. And in turn, the whole body follows this guide. Okay, let's take just 3 more replenishing, lovely, restorative breaths here. Breathing your own time. I'm getting ready to come out of this pose now. So you can either just roll over to the side here or lift your hips up and just lift or push the blankets out of the way. So either way, maybe just ending up, if you rolled off the side, push the blankets away and come back down onto your back. Let's take just a few breaths in constructive rest here again, just to feel a symmetrical, grounded version of all the different poses we've been doing, coming back to where we started. So the feet are mat distance apart, the knees are knocked in together. Let's have the palms facing up towards the ceiling, a little bit of space between the arms and the body. Sometimes this can be a kind of unusual but very kind of grounding sensation where we had parts of the body lifted. When we bring them back down to the ground, it almost feels like we're dropping further into the ground because the body had gotten used to the lifted sensation. So really feel your connection to the earth here as it supports your body. Okay, we're going to get ready for Shavasana now. So just gently rolling over. If you want to take the Shavasana as you are, you can just lengthen the legs out and come into your Shavasana to really utilize as much time as you can. Or if you want to take an elevated legs version of Shavasana, I'll talk you into that. So either staying in Shavasana if you're really ready to just absorb, or rolling over to your right hand side, press left hand into the mat to lift yourself up. So all you're going to do for the elevated legs version is going to bring that stack of blankets that we made for our back bend and pop them to the end of your mat there now. And coming onto your back and just placing your calves, the back of your calves on your elevated blankets there. So coming into just continuing to explore different versions of inversions. This time giving the legs a little bit of replenishment, just to thank them for the activity of the first half of the class. So whichever version of Shavasana you're in, just really letting yourself absorb this idea of these last few moments of self-care, absorbing all the benefits of your practice, of your doing practice and your non-doing practice. So both sides of this practice, giving you two different things to your nervous system. Just settling into the silence now for the last few minutes of your practice. And remembering to stay close to the breath, close to the sensations, the skin close to the forehead, or whatever anchor you prefer. Just getting ready now to come back into your day. Maybe bringing a little bit of movement to your fingertips and your toes. Start to deepen your breath now. Giving a little bit more oxygen to the body, a little bit more life. Now, when you are ready in your own time, rolling over to your right hand side and taking a moment here to relax. Just gently easing yourself back into your day. And then when you're ready, using your left hand to support you, press into it to lift yourself up gently to comfortable seated position, hands in prayer position at your heart. Let's take one deep restorative breath here before we close our practice. Inhaling and exhaling all the breath. Thumbs to your third eye, to your lips, to your heart center. Namaste. And well done, and thank you for practicing with me. So any questions on any of those little sequences? There's a couple of more challenging ones today. Happy to help. So you can catch me at ruth@yogaroo.ie. And I look forward to seeing you again next week.